Hey, how you doing? Welcome back. It's Dr. Prodigal. Come to talk to you about something very simple, something called anointing. And your anointing will affect your vision. So as God has anointed all of us for specific things, we must be careful not to just take it as a common thing. Why do I say that? There are many instances in the Bible where people were anointed, but they weren't necessarily wise, and they treated the anointing as something common. I've often heard people say, oh, well, we got to protect the anointing. Well, you can't protect what you didn't produce. So let's start there. You don't want nobody to come to the pastor because you're protecting his anointing. You can't even protect your own anointing in a sense. It didn't come from you. And how are you going to protect something supernatural when you're thinking and dealing with doctrines of natural? But let's move a little bit further. I was thinking about Samson. Samson was a very anointed young man. He was anointed from conception. Yes, he was strong. There are a few things that I would like to just give you thought about concerning Samson. Number one, I don't think that he looked like he was Arnold Schwarzenegger or Mr. Universe. I think that he was probably just a pretty ordinary guy that people knew he was strong, but his anointing is what gave him this strength. And the symbol of his anointing was his Nazarite hairdo. Yes, a Nazarite was someone that wasn't supposed to drink any any alcohol, touch dead things, and never to cut his hair. So I'm quite sure he has some nice locks up there. Those locks were looking real great. 7 of them, if I remember right, on studying the Nazarites and the locks that was on their head. So here it is, Samson. He's walking around anointed. He has some dysfunctional parents. Why do I say that they're dysfunctional? Because they knew he wasn't supposed to marry nobody from outside of where he was to marry. And what he did, I want this woman, and they went and got that woman. So then what happens after that? Here we are, the Hebrews, the Israelites are being held down by the Philistines. So he marries this woman, then the father-in-law gets in, doesn't let him get with his wife, gave his wife to another. So Samson ain't anointed when he looked for revenge. Finding the foxes, putting firebrands between, and turning them loose in all the fields so they can burn down the Philistines' fields. They get mad. They want to know who did it. They want to know why. They end up and they go by and they kill his father-in-law and his wife. So now he's back and forth. He started out wrong. They gave him the wrong thing. They went along with it. He's still anointed though. There's going to be days in your life that you're still going to be anointed, even though you don't feel like it or you may not even think about it. There's days that I wake up and I was like, Lord, I really don't feel like this today, but I'm still anointed. There's some things that have happened recently, just in case many don't know, I'm an atomic veteran. I do see, I'm blessed. I'm anointed. I thank God for me still being here. Not when we find maybe 600 still alive out of 8,000. Tell me that's not a blessing. We were losing quite a few, and we just lost another one. A great man, a patriot, been for the cause, and I can't wait to go to his homegoing celebration. I don't want it to be a funeral. I want it to be a celebration for him. So I will go to that region, which I have never been to, but I'm going for that, to honor him and to even bring up the spirits of others. But I'm not feeling anointed doing it, but I'm still anointed. So we can't go by feeling on the anointing, because then that way, that's what some people mistakenly do in church. The music is high. Oh yeah, boom, boom, boom. It's jumping. People can get their holy dance on if that's what you do. If that's what you do in your worship experience, then I'm not coming down on it. But I want to see you dance outside this church too. I want to see you be in McDonald's when they start cutting up and cussing and everything else, and you're supposed to be the light of the world, and you can start dancing up in there in the midst of all that. I want to see you dancing in your spirit when you flying down the road at 90 miles an hour and the speed limit 65 and you got a radar detector. I want you to get out the car and dance and think about, why do I need a radar detector if I'm doing what I'm supposed to do according to the laws of the land, according to the Lord? But we go back again to Samson. That's just a little quick sidebar on something. Why do Christians need radar detectors? But Samson began trying to find himself for what it is. Maybe he was wounded over his first wife, his little sweetheart. Maybe he felt inadequate. Maybe he was just a spoiled brat, which is a good possibility. So what does he do? He finds some things. I can't drink, but he still messes with the dead things. He doesn't cut his hair, and he can't drink, but he's still touching dead things. You'll find a lot of sweetness in dead things, just like he found in that lion carcass. You'll find some sweetness in it. Trust me, that's why sin is so nice. It's sweetness in something that's already dead. But then he turns to something else to take his mind. Sex. The man goes to a brothel. He's a judge of Israel. Everybody knew he was a judge. Judge got money. Quite sure he had his flavor. He probably walked in. Everybody wanted to be, the special servant freak to Samson. He gets there. It leaves you empty. Like anything else that you try to replace what God is doing, it will leave you empty in the long run. Why can I say that? Because I can look at periods in my life where I tried to replace the pain that only God could take away with everything else. It left me empty, but I was still anointed. Now here it comes later. There's a time when the anointing will leave you. So Samson leaves that house. He finds Delilah. Delilah means dainty one. Dainty. So he goes away from Bonquisha to Delilah. Yeah, she's a dainty little sweetheart. Lays his head in the lap. He has intimacy. He's having intercourse. Don't let your mind go there. It's not sexual intercourse, but it's close and meaningful relations. Let's start beginning to look up words. Let's begin to research what they mean and how they're used. So he's intimate. He's laying his head in her lap. He's not, and I'm not trying to be crude, he's not aroused or horny because he just spent himself before he got there. But he's laying there, Delilah stroking his head. She has an agreement that she has to find out the source of his strength. Because they wonder, how this guy doing all this? This guy throwing gates and killing folk with bones of animals and carrying on and burning down folk field. Where's all his strength coming from? So he trusts this person. He's anointed. You have to be careful who you trust when you're anointed. So here it is. He's thinking, he's looking, he's loving, he's embracing. Yeah. Now she has him to eventually divulge the source of his strength. He had operated under anointing for so long until it became common to him. When God calls you to either bring a word, to do a function, you must be careful that you're not taking for granted that, I can do this. I'm anointed. Because what you've just done was take the source and the power of your anointing and put it within yourself instead of keeping it within God. So he jumps up. He's done it so many times. He's ran, he's handled it, he comes back, he lays down. You find out Delilah, like, look at you. You lied to me. Why you lied to me? She pulled the wiles on him. Finally, he gave up and told her the source of his anointing, or the symbol of the source at that time, which was his hair. What happens? He lays his head right back in the lap. Ladies, let me give you a hint. This is how powerful you are. You can have a man become so comfortable without anything sexual until he'll give you all of his inner secrets. Well, to make sure I don't have to get my hair cut, and I'm only going to lay it in my wife's lap because she likes rubbing this nugget right here, just like it is a little rough today. It sounds like sandpaper inside my head. But I can't lay my head in a lap that's not my wife's. I dare not try that. I'm not even going to do it for the fact of not saying that I would fall, but just the appearance of it wouldn't be right. But ladies, you can get secrets from a man if you just be dainty with him. So Samson lays his head in the lap while he sleep. Delilah get to slimming that head up. She cut it down. She gave him a no-top fade. All of it. Now she calls. She has the Philistine boys there waiting. Oh, here they are. They're upon us again. Now this time he's not even thinking. He's taking it so common. He jumps up. He go to handle it and find out that the enemy was there with him. Said, psych, you ain't doing it this time. He was taken into custody because of this desire for intimacy. A man wants intimacy. Trust me, he wants intercourse, close and meaningful relations. Trust me, he wants that. And he wanted it so much that he didn't value what God had given him, which would have brought him on a whole nother level. What's the first thing they did when they captured him? They bound him, and then they took his eyes out. He already had his hair cut. It took his eyes out. He couldn't see anymore. Then they put him someplace to really demean him, to make him just turn the wheel, and the grinding in the mill. He just turned it. He just kept pushing and pushing and pushing. They figure if you got that much strength, you can do it. So my question that I've asked of the Lord, he hasn't spoken yet, was there a connection between the strength that he had to do all these superhuman feats and the symbol of his anointing, which was his hair? I believe that there was. Why do I say that? Because he can still turn that wheel, and he's building up muscles turning that wheel. It's a heavy wheel. He's building up muscles. He's turning it. Everybody knows that Samson now is the laughing stock. But now the enemy gets cocky. Go get him. We're going to have some fun with him. But guess what? God sent a lad to lead him. A youthful vision for the one that has lost the vision. Now as he leads him here, Samson still has the wisdom for the new vision. So all of you that are saying that God gave you a vision and you don't need nothing else, you still need some wisdom for those who came before you, and you need to respect. Never said that the youth disrespected him, but Samson, during that time of, I should say, consequence, I can't say it's damnation because he still completed what God told him to do, but it was the consequence of his actions. He was growing his hair back. So there are times when you can fall and miss it, and God will still allow you to regroup in the form of growing your hair back. Don't make no jokes about mine. I keep it cut. So I have spiritual hair. You just don't see the spiritual afro because you can't see in the spirit, glory to God. But you get that anointing to grow and develop back again. And like with anything else, when I do grow my hair back, it's much thicker than when I cut it. So I keep it cut because it's actually pretty good to me. But these are things. Samson grew his hair back. He didn't get his vision back, but he has his memory and he grew his hair back. His assignment was still the same, but his vision was gone. The youthful vision would lead him. Now he has to guide the youthful vision. So what does he do with the youthful vision? He's guiding him. He says, look, take me up here. I want you to put me between these two pillars right here. When you get me there, strap my hands on it. The young man was like, okay, I'm getting paid either. He waited till everybody was in the stadium for him. Everybody was doing something. The young man, his new vision puts him in between an old situation that was undone. Now Samson has the vision of a young man, the strength of an old man, and the redeveloped anointing of strength. And his anointing He's in between the two pillars, the past and the future. And he's in the present. He's going to make it happen. The past, all the Philistines made fun of him and all of that. They really oppressed the people. In the future, God was going to kill him. And then right now, Samson was the instrument. So we see the young man became his vision, led him back into position, placed him into position, and we don't hear anything else about the young man anymore, because he had to continue with the vision that he was given. But until you serve somebody else to help them bring their vision to pass, you may not ever be released. What does Samson do now? His hair's grown back. He got his strength because he was working out with that wheel, pushing it. And the only thing he was missing was the vision. God provided that vision for him. What happened? He killed more Philistines in his death than he did in all of his life. That was his purpose anyway, was to kill the Philistines. But we got sidetracked. How have you been sidetracked with the vision that God has given you? I'll be transparent with myself. Sometimes we want something so bad until we act like Balaam and, we're going to say, well, God, I know you said no, but I'm going to wait one more night and see if you tell me something different. Well, God will give you what you ask for. He's not going to make you take the blessing or the best that he has for you. And in my case, I kept pushing red flags everywhere, lying, violence, everything. I still wanted to do it. 40 months later, I was glad for deliverance. I was glad, and it happened so quick, just like with Samson. But my vision for that period was taken. Do I have another vision now? Somewhat, yes. Yes, I do. And that may be why you're talking to me now. So it all works together for good. He kills more in his death than he did in his life. He accomplished more on the way out than he did while he was in the house. Maybe that's what it is with you in the church now. Maybe you need to get out the house so you can do more. One time someone spoke to me about pouring water. He said if you pour it in a glass, it's contained. It doesn't go anywhere. But if you pour it on the table, it goes everywhere. Perhaps God is taking you out of that glass to let you go everywhere, but you want to stay in the fishbowl. At least check the aquarium out. But if you want to stay in the fishbowl, it's there. You must remember your anointing was not made to be contained. I'll say that again. Your anointing was not made to be contained. I don't recall anywhere in the Bible, in the 66 canonized books, where the anointing was made to be contained in one place. Just a thought. Remember your anointing and vision. Don't lose your vision. Don't lose your vision. Yeah, it's not the same as if a young man leads me. It's not the same. Because it's like tasting. You can tell me what something tastes like. But until I taste it for myself, that's all there is to it. Okay? God bless you. Have a wonderful day.